What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got several things to go over here for you guys in this video, and thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. Here we go. Let's jump right in. Check this out. The U.S. warns California cities to prepare for possible water cuts and the fourth year of drought. The largest state in the country with the most population of 45 million people or so. Yeah, federal water managers on Monday warned California cities and industrial users receiving water from the Central Valley Project to prepare for a fourth year of drought and possibly, quote, extremely limited water supply during 2023. The U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, an agency of Interior Department, said drought conditions in California have persisted despite early storms this month and warned of looming water conservation actions. The agency said water storage is near historic lows in the reservoirs in overseas in the state, which supply water to the vast agricultural region in the Central Valley and major centers in Greater Sacramento and the San Francisco Bay areas. Yikes. The freight rail shutdown, which could happen as soon as December 5th in one case and December 9th nationwide, could shut down and jeopardize fuel supplies nationwide, business groups are saying. Two associations representing gas station owners warned Monday that a freight rail shutdown, which could happen as soon as December 9th, could jeopardize their ability to keep fuel in stock across the country. Quote, if a work stoppage were to occur, it would immediately disrupt fuel marketers' ability to ensure a reliable and stable supply of fuel for U.S. consumers and for the nation's commercial fleets. They noted that President Biden has been, quote, directly involved in the process and has been engaged with his team and Congress in case resolving the issue falls to them, as it has 18 times in the last 60 years. Wow. Yeah, you think fuel prices and diesel prices are bad now. Diesel prices, especially, are out of this world. Uh, Imagine if we actually have a rail worker strike. Now, Congress actually has the power to force these railroad and rail strike and Amtrak workers to not walk off the job or try to, but that doesn't mean that they won't actually walk off the job. So that's the problem here. Is Congress has the authority to say, yeah, well, we want to force you to go back to work. We have congressional authority to do it, but that doesn't mean that people will actually stay there. So let's see. I'll keep you up to date here on this. And of course, if you think our viruses have been bad, they're saying that the deadly bird flu virus outbreak is actually the worst in U.S. history. And this is causing the price of eggs, the price of chicken, the price of turkey, and the price of associated birds as well, different types of meat, to skyrocket. You've probably noticed this at the markets. Yeah, an ongoing outbreak of a deadly strain of bird flu has now killed more birds than any past flare up in U.S. history. The virus, known as a highly pathogenic avian influenza, remember the flu is a virus and it can affect animals as well. Remember the flu virus, we also have the bird flu, has led to the deaths of over 50 million domestic birds in the country this year just in the US. This is not even worldwide. 50 million birds. According to the Agriculture Department data reported by Reuters on Thursday, that figure represents birds like chickens, ducks, and turkeys from commercial poultry farms, backyard flocks, and facilities such as petting zoos. Honestly, it kind of makes me wonder like how safe this type of meat stuff is. But I mean, you guys can let me know your thoughts here on this in the comment section. The count surpassed the previous record of 50.5 million dead birds from a 2015 outbreak, which was only 7 years ago. Yeah. Separately, the USDA data shows at least 3,700 confirmed cases among wild birds as well. They're probably really not tracking wild birds too much, you know. On farms, some birds die from flu directly, while in other cases, farmers kill their entire flocks to prevent the virus from spreading after one bird tests positive. Wow. Such farmers have occasionally drawn condemnation from animal welfare advocates for using a culling method known as ventilation shutdown plus, which involves sealing off the airways to a barn and pumping in heat to kill off the animals. Wow. The virus has raged through Europe and North America since 2021. A variety of wild birds have been affected worldwide, including bald eagles, vultures, and seabirds. This month, Peru also reported its first apparent outbreak of the highly pathogenic avian influenza, or flu, after 200 dead pelicans were found on a beach. Wow. Unbelievable. Even a black bear cub in Alaska was euthanized earlier this month after contracting the virus. A bear cub in Alaska. Wow. The CDC states the risk to the general public from the bird flu outbreak is low. However, the agency recommends precautions like wearing personal protective equipment and thoroughly washing hands to people that have prolonged contact with birds that may be infected. In April, a Colorado prisoner working at a commercial farm became the first person in the US to test positive for the new strain, though he was largely asymptomatic. Interesting. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here on this. 50 million birds worldwide here just this year. And it also happened 7 years ago as well. Yes, that's the thing about viruses. I mean, people tend to forget that viruses have been around for a long, long time. Long, long time. We think about the flu virus, the cold virus, lots of viruses. Obviously, we have the coronavirus. We have, other viruses like HIV and stuff like this. We have the Spanish flu, back of, what was it, 1912. That killed tens of millions of Americans as well, or tens of millions of people worldwide as well. Um, yeah, a lot of people tend to forget about this. They tend to forget about this. Yeah, it's unbelievable, right? Yeah, and if it's not the other big thing this is affecting is people's wallets. You go to the store and you buy chicken, you buy turkey, you buy eggs, and it's costing you more money, aka inflation. And we're also seeing this in gas prices and diesel prices and rising interest rates as well. And the Fed's saying that, well, look at this headline here. The Fed president says seeing inflation fight stretching into 2024. Wow. That's not a good sign here. The Federal Reserve head in St. Louis expects the central bank's fight to curb high inflation in the U.S. economy to stretch into 2024. And the Fed could slowly raise interest rates to a range of 5 to 7%. Now, that's the base rate. So that means things like mortgage rates would be much higher, and obviously credit card rates would be much higher as well. The credit card interest rates on average are already 20%. Saying, quote, I think we'll probably have to stay there all during 2023 and into 2024. The Fed has already raised interest rates 6 times this year as the U.S. struggles with a roughly 40-year high inflation rate. The bank has hiked interest rates to a range of 3.75 to 4%, the fourth consecutive increase of 75 basis points already. So we're at the central bank, the Fed, has interest rates at around 4% right now. They're saying that they could go all the way up to 7%, which would be 3% higher than they are now. Wow. Here's what the head of the New York branch, Federal Reserve Chairman John Williams, has to say. Take a listen.
New York Fed President John Williams, one of the key rate-setting members of the Federal Market Committee, says he's confident the Fed will restore price stability. He is seeing some progress in bringing down inflation, but this is a nuanced view. He sees improvement in inflation from commodities and supply chain disruptions. He notes that they're no longer seeing ships stalled at the ports in California, and new auto inventories are edging back up. But talks about a third type of inflation. He calls it underlying inflation. He calls it the most challenging for the Federal Reserve. He sees broad-based inflation coming from services and labor costs. This type of inflation, he says, will take longer to bring back down. He sees some progress, though, in doing so. For example, he notes rents are declining and signs of the labor market starting to cool. Measures of liquidity. Remember, the New York Fed does monitor markets through the New York Fed desk. He says they have declined, but they're in line with historical averages. On the economic outlook, he sees real GDP rising only modestly in 2023. That could be a zero, or it could be just a few tenths of a point. Unemployment he sees going up from the current 3.7 to 4.5 to around 5%. Inflation will decline from around 5 or 6% now to 3.5% next year. Returns to 2%, the Fed's target, over the next few years. Scott, I'm not getting a big call from Williams, either hawkish or dovish on this. This looks to be a kind of stay-the-course speech from what I can get.
Yeah, rare, given the Fed speak of late, where you get a pretty good indication of. I was going to ask you, where are the comments about, pausing, not even in the conversation that we've heard from everybody out there? Not in there?
There is Q&A, though, so I'll go back to my back into my lair, and I'll be listening more to Williams. And if he says anything, I'll pop back on and make sure that you know first, and fastest.
All right, we look forward to that. Let me ask you quickly, though, before you go. Powell, right, on Wednesday at Brookings? I would figure that's his last public commentary before, because they go into the quiet period. What are you thinking about as it relates to that meeting?
I don't think that, I always ask myself, does the chair have a need to redirect? Does the chair have a need to tell us something we don't know? I don't think we do at this point. I don't think he's unhappy with where the market is priced or where bonds are priced right now. And so I think that he's happy with market expectations, which are in that, say, 5% peak funds rate. I don't think he feels a need to really change the narrative that's out there that the market understands about the Federal Reserve. So I would think also it would be a sort of stay the course type speech.
Okay, good stuff. We'll see you again.
Yeah, so do you think we're going to get more interest rate hikes from the Federal Reserve, or do you think it's time they slow them down and stop them? I think we're probably going to get another interest rate hike of around 50 basis points here in December. Which is obviously pretty close here. The question is, will they continue in 2023? Yeah, we've actually seen mortgage rates drop here over the last few weeks because just kind of the banks are, I guess, getting a little itchy of the lack of people applying for new home mortgages. The problem is that the Fed's going to raise interest rates again. We have not seen credit card interest rates go down. We have only seen them go up. And now they're going to raise interest rates yet again. Personal loans continue to go up as well. We're seeing all-time highs on the rates of credit cards, personal loans, and, well, not all-time highs on mortgages, but we're seeing, I think, around 20-year highs on that, and demand for mortgages at 25-year lows. Yeah, so the question here is inflation going to subside? Is it going to it's just rough. So I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel down below. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos as well. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And you can click here to watch my newest video about checks that are going out to millions of Americans that you might not even know about. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.